The big issue that the industry faces today is firstly availability of labour overall. So we don't have a big enough workforce to support the industry sectors that we currently have, and therefore we need to use more automation to perform the repetitive, the mundane tasks, the kind of jobs that people shouldn't currently be doing, and then we utilise the people we've got where their skills are going to add value to the product, and making them more productive, making our industries more profitable and therefore more successful for the future. The other challenge that we face is actually getting more people into engineering, more people into manufacturing, and it's proving difficult to attract people to do STEM subjects, for example, and to enter that pipeline in terms of becoming engineers or manufacturing personnel. And we were talking earlier in the panel that we ran about using robotics as something of interest to the schools. So things like schools robot competitions that gets the children excited about engineering challenges, gets them involved in projects, developing some of the softer skills that they need, but most importantly gets them on that journey towards becoming engineers. And if we can get more school children onto that journey, we will get more coming out the other end as engineers, which will then satisfy our needs for the future. In terms of the employers or the businesses, the owners and managers of these businesses, they historically they've not been very good at capital investment. That's a weakness in the UK, and our adoption of robots has suffered as a consequence of that. They also see robots as challenging technically, and they're not as challenging as they used to be. They're not as expensive as they used to be, so they're much more appropriate than they used to be. And we are seeing growing interest. But one of the things that we did historically is we brought a lot of workers into the UK to undertake a lot of the so-called low-cost, low-pay roles. And that's no longer an option. We're not able to bring in those kind of workers anymore. So manufacturing in particular is facing a labour shortage, a skills shortage, and cannot bring in people to address those challenges. And it's now being almost forced into looking at automation as an alternative approach, because that is the only other solution. And we're also seeing greater interest in reshoring manufacturing into the UK because of sustainability, because of net zero commitments and so on. And to do that, we also need to ensure that A, it's competitive when we bring it back, but B, we haven't got the workforce to do all those kind of jobs. So again, it needs more automation to do it. So we're starting to see much greater interest from the manufacturers, from industry, in terms of what can robots and automation do for them. And that's forming a significant part of what we do at the MTC, is helping those companies make informed decisions, avoid the kind of mistakes that I made when I was much younger, doing it early on in my career, so we can help people successfully invest in the right equipment to do the right jobs, to make their businesses better. It's almost like the labour shortage has created a market for the use of robots and automation, that we were always there trying to justify robots against other costs, the cost benefits and so on. But now it's almost like people don't have that much of a choice. They've kind of got to do it if they want to carry on manufacturing in the UK. And therefore it's opening up the market to greater adoption. We haven't done it a lot previously, so there's a lot of lessons to be learned, and we're there to help businesses do that. As I said, minimise their risk, minimise their costs, and make sure the investments they do make are successful. Now, I think the event is a wonderful success. All the conversations I've had with all the attendees have been very positive. One of the major aims of sessions like this is to stimulate interest, is to generate people talking about what technology can do for them, and what the future is going to hold, and how we can make the UK successful in this space. And I think this event is certainly one of the best events in the UK for doing that. It's getting the right kind of audience, it's getting the right kind of speakers together, that's creating a positive vibe that's going to help drive us forward.